Hello, good day. Let's start this new lesson for Unreal Engine 5.7.2. This lecture is about navigation. I will now hand you over to the lecturer.
So right now we are in Unreal Engine 5. This window here is the viewport. This section here is the outliner panel. This is the details. You will see the details for the different objects when selected. We have here, this is like a basic menu for like different software platforms. So like you have a file, you have edit, a window, tools. This is like standard for like basic software. So we see here, this window here, the viewport. Now we can move through the viewport. So if we hold on right click and move to the, press A, we will move to the left. We hold on right click, we press D, we will move to the right. We hold on right click and press W, we'll go forward. We hold on right click, we press S, we'll go backwards. We hold on right click, we press Q, we'll go down. We hold on right click, we press E, and we will go up. So this is generally how to navigate the interface. Also, if you hold on right click and you move around the mouse, you can see the screen is moving, you can see different views and so forth. So this viewport is the main window of Unreal Engine 5, where you'll be doing all the modeling. I want to also mention you can hold on left click and you can still navigate to be slightly different. So here I'm pressing hold on left click and I'm pressing A, hold on left click and I'm pressing D, hold on left click, pressing W, hold on left click and pressing S. So this is the main window for the modeling. So we will create a lot of objects and we'll create objects in Unreal. So the first object, let's add an object to the project. So we go in here by this plus sign here, Max quickly add to the project. Go here, let's add a shape, let's add a cube. We see this object here. I want to mention that we have controls for the object. So if you hold on here, left click, and hold on here, and go up. If you pull on the mouse, we go down. If you hold the green arrow, we go across here, we go to the right. If you hold this arrow here, this is the red arrow, we go that direction here. If you want to change the view, you'll be right click and then move around with the, well here I'm pressing E to move around. First, go up with E, go down with Q, go to the left, well spin around, going to the left with A, going backwards with S, going down with Q, going to the right with D. So this can help you navigate. So let's put this cube to the ground, to the floor. So we see here, this is the cube here. We see the shadow on the cube. We see that when the cube starts going through the floor, we see that this kind of like this line here. It's going through the floor here. Back up. So let's just bring it to touch the floor. So this is when you have the cube selected, you can see it here in the outliner panel. This is the outliner panel. You can see it selected here. And this section here is the details panels. You can see the details of the cube. So these are different information about cube. So you see the location. This is a Z, have an X and a Y axis. So you can change this here. Look how I'm going to change this. You see? So what I'm doing here, I'm putting the mouse here and sliding. Z. Slide to the right, it will go up. Slide to the left, it will go back down. This is the y-axis. This is green, the y-axis. And you can actually see it's Y. You can actually see it here marked Y. So when I pull to the right, watch what's happening. I pull to the left, it's moving. Same thing here. We can go to the X-axis, you can slide. It's moving. It's moving. You can click this button and this button will reset the position of the cube. So let's see which part it was. This is the original position of the cube. So when we originally loaded the cube, brought the cube into the viewport, it came here. So when you press reset, it will always come back to this point here. This is the origin point here. So here it's going through the floor. Let's come out the floor. If you want to see the floor, you can click the floor here, select, and let's press S to go back and see the floor. So go back. So I'm going back and I'm scrolling, pressing the middle button, the middle mouse button to go back faster. See, the floor was like a big cube. I'm right clicking and I'm pressing Q. So I'm adjusting the button. You can see here, this is the cube here. S, I'm going back. Q, now press E to go up. Press W to go forward. I'm pressing S to go back because I want to show you all something. Now, if you press this cube here, we have the cube selected. If you want to zoom in quick on the cube, just press F. So I'll do that now. See? We just zoomed in immediately to the item that was selected. So this is a very useful tip for when you're navigating around the viewport. Sometimes you zoomed out far and you want to zoom in quickly to an item. You can just select the item and press F and you'll zoom in immediately to the item. Another trick. So I'm going to press C to zoom in, and I want to really see. Why I'm zooming so quick is because when I was zooming, I was adjusting the zoom speed. When I was zooming, I was pressing the middle mouse to adjust the speed here. So what I want to do, I'm going to right click and I want to just press W to zoom in, but at the same time I will press the scroll button to adjust the scrolling speed. So basically what I'll do, I want to adjust the speed here, the speed in which I'm going to scroll. So I'm going to press this. See, it is going down. Oh, it's going up, it's feels faster. I want this to go back to 1. Alright. So if you check, when I scroll the mouse button up, it is going faster. It will zoom in faster. When I press the scroll button down, so I'm going to press the scroll button down, middle button down. So holding right click and I'm moving the scroll button down. See the speed? Speed is now slower. Also, you could just go here and manually set the speed you want to move at. So I'll just set the speed to 1. And I'll zoom in. Moving around. So we can see, we can move the object. We could hold the object here and move it up with the mouse. We can move it across this way. Can move it across here on the y-axis, or we can move all at the same time, the x, y, and z axis at the same time. To do that, we need to go in the middle here, select it with left click, and then move it. So this is the basic movements. We can see it here. So we can, if you click this button here, you can move the object. Also, you can just press the W, and you move the object. Now, you can also rotate the object. So you can press this button here, and you can rotate the object, or you can press E. And I want to mention that these arrows will change. So let's press it here. You see, it has changed. So when you click here, rotating. As you rotate along an axis here, you can rotate along an axis here. Now let's rotate on this axis here. So you can rotate the object. If you want to reset it to original point before all the rotations, you can just press this button here to reset. Now we can also scale the object. Scaling means we're making the object get bigger or making the object become smaller. So to scale, we press this button, or we could press R. So when you move this, the blue will be the Z-axis. See how it's getting longer. Of course, you can see some of the object is here and some has gone through the floor. What I will do is press W and move up the object so you can see the size of the object. Then I'll go back and press R and can scale some more. But rather than scaling on the Z-axis, let's scale here on the Y-axis. So pull on, left click and move this. See how it's getting larger here. Now let's do the same for the X-axis. The X-axis will be red. So what I'll do, click this with the left click button, move it across. See how it's getting wider here. Move it back across to the right, and smaller. If you want to go back to the original settings, just click this button here, original size. Now I want to show you that you can easily duplicate objects. So press W. W will go back to this button here. Hold on your keypad, press Alt, and then move any arrow. You see, we just created a duplicate. So this was the original box, this is the second box. So this was the original. Observe what when you go in the outliner panel, it marked cube 1. When you click here cube 2, you select this object here. So I want to mention at this point in time, you can identify an object, you can select an object here by pressing it in the viewport, or you can go to the outliner panel and select the object here, or you select the object. So you can select objects in the outliner panel. Let's duplicate it again. Duplicate it. Hold on Alt again, just move in a direction. So you see we can duplicate in any direction. And every time we duplicate, we see a new object appears here. So this is cube 7. Let's hold on Alt and let's move to another direction. See, cube 8. So I don't want all those cubes, so I just hold on Shift to cube 2. I select all these cubes and I'm going to press D and delete it on my keyboard. So we just left with this cube here. So that's the basic navigation. So there are many other shapes apart from the cube. You can go click this button here, go to the added project, go to shapes, click sphere. Let's adjust the scale, press R, move this and pull out. Adjust the size of this sphere. Move this across. Let's create another shape. Cylinder. Select it, rotate it, because I don't like how it's shaped like this. Rotate it. Alright, up there. Press W, pull it up. Let's create a new shape. Cone. You see it's a cone here. Let's just press E and rotate it. Rotate. See, you can rotate it. Rotate. Rotate. And you can reset all the rotations with this button here. Click this button in the details panel. So So basically we will be resetting the settings. Press W. I want to move this. Go back here. Another shape. Plane. It's like a piece of a flat surface. Hold long left click, you can move. 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 So basically we can navigate through the interface. We can create shapes. Let's see if, I wanted to create another shape. Let's say we created a cube. Shape, cube. Brings to the floor. And I want to put some fire onto the cube. Okay, what I want to show you now is how to create fire and put it into the scene. Now, earlier versions of Unreal, you had a thing called the starter content, and any starter content you would have been able to, let's say, import a lot of different basic materials and to perform various edits in this platform. However, the more later versions of Unreal do not have this starter content by default. So while this might be seen as a limitation, it's not really a limitation, because I mean I can produce a link. I'll show you where to get the starter content. Link is here. So you can get the starter content from this link here. Go to that link, download the files to your computer. After you have downloaded the files to your computer, you need to go to this area here. So this area here is called the content drawer. So click here, the content drawer. Now I have a previous project that I was working on. So you'll go to all, then go to content. So you can click it here, all, then content, or you can go from all, then double click content, and then you can right click, new folder, and type in starter content. Note I already have a folder named starter content, so I'll just call it starter underscore content. And after double click, after you have downloaded the folder with the starter content, you just need to copy and paste it into here. So what I'll do, I'll right click here, show in Explorer. So when I click here, when I click this button here, or just click this area here, this will show me which part on my computer is this file. So when I click here, it will show me which part of my computer is this file, and then all I need to do is copy and paste the starter content into here. But I'm not going to do that because I already have the starter content on my system. So I want to delete this. Press delete on the keyboard. Yes, delete. This is the starter content here. So these are the files in the starter content. You will have an architecture, an audio, blueprints, HDRI. HDRI are images, maps, materials. Materials is what you use to put on different fancy look and textures onto objects or assets. Particles, props, shapes, textures. So you want the fire, so you need to go in this area here, particles, and click here, fire. So just like how we so when we have in Unreal 5.7 and even later versions, when they eventually do come out, when we have an object here in content drawer, this area is the content drawer, and we want to put it onto the viewport, you click it here, left click, bring it here, and we can see the fire. So let's position the fire. Left click, move it up. Left click, move that across here. Left click. Just trying to center the fire. So I want to change the view to so I could see better. Alright, rotate. E, go up. Alright. Press R. I want to increase the scale. So I'll press this middle one here, and that's increase the size. Oh, pressing box. I want to just select the fire. So clicking here to select the fire. And you know what? I'll just go to scale and I'll just increase the scale. Now this button here is locked. So that means when I adjust one parameter, all parameters will change at the same time. So I just want to slide across to increase the fire. Now you can see we sliding, but it's kind of sliding slow. So I'll just press 2 and press enter. You see the fire has engulfed the block. Let's press 3. Enter. The fire has gotten bigger. Press 5. Enter. And there's a big fire now. Let's add some smoke. So go to the content draw. Click Steamlet. Add some smoke. Press W. Up. Observe, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 arrows. This arrow here is where the smoke is pointing to. So I just add this smoke here to make it look like a generating a lot of smoke. Now I will bring this lecture to a close in a while, but before I close this lecture, I want to show you some lighting. I want to show you some, like, let's say some kind of scenery lighting. So press Ctrl and press L. Hold on Ctrl, hold on L, and we can change the lighting, the sun lighting. So move the mouse, night, day. You can see the sun changing. Scenery, sun, night, day, scenery, bright light. So I'm holding on Ctrl and L, and while those two buttons are being held down, I'm controlling lighting with this. This is like the background light, day, and I'm changing the scenery. Let's do this in the context of the fire. So hold on Ctrl L. I want to get a better view, so I'm changing this. Ctrl L. Let's see the scenery. You see the shadows come in. Shadows, scenery. Night. Let's put a D. Sun is rising. You can see the sun here. Sun is up. Sun is down. Sun is up. Sun is moving around. Can't control lighting. The sun. Of course, when we approach the chapter with lighting, we will cover lighting in more detail. But I just want to show you how to change lighting. This is just a basic thing to do in Unreal. You have the floor selected. So this lecture showed you how to navigate through the viewport, how to go up with E, up forward with W, backward with S, down with Q, left with A, right with D, back up, go forward with W, press E here, hold on left click or hold on right click, and just move around the mouse, and you can see you can do this all together. So you can hold on the left click, or you can hold on right click, move around the mouse, and at the same time we're moving the directional arrows, and we see we're moving around the screen. We can create objects. Go to shapes. We can create our own objects. We can move objects. We can press delete and delete objects. Delete. When we select an object, it appears here in the outliner window. We can see the details of the object here in the details panel here. We can adjust the parameters of the object. We're adjusting the scale here. When I have this button, when I have this icon here, that means all the parameters are locked. I could unclick this. And let's just change one parameter. Let's just change the x-axis. You can see one thing that's changing here. Let's change along the x-axis. Let's change the z-axis, the blue. Press this button here to reset. Move around. Ctrl L for lighten. You can change the lighten. And move around. And then if you want to add, you can add different things. You go to the content drawer. You go to this folder here, the starter content. Of course, we created the starter content folder. We went to particles here. And we added this particle, we added the fire, and we added the smoke. But we don't need to add those things. We could add other things. We could also adjust materials. So here we are seeing a blank cube, but let's say we want to change the material. So what we can do, go to the content drawer, go to materials, and let's say we want to make this a brick. In fact, let's make the ground some kind of brick ground. So click on the floor, content drawer. We want to change the appearance of the floor. We're going to select this. This is a material here. And we're going to place it onto the floor. You see, the floor now looks like a bricked floor. Let's say you click this and you want to give this a different look. Let's say you want to give it some kind of metallic look. So we can select it, we can drag it across, or we can have this selected. Then at the same time, while this is selected here, we could select the item here, and then we can go to the details panel. Let's go to the details panel and click this button here. Use select asset from content browser. And we have changed the material here. Suppose now we wanted to apply this material onto the cube here, but we don't know where to find that material for the floor. So what you do, click this. You can see the material is actually applied here. You can find it by pressing this button here, and we can see this here. So once it's selected, now you can select the cube and then press this. And we have now applied the same brick that was the brick material that was in the floor. We have now applied it here. You can go to the content drawer. Let's say we want to apply some kind of grass material. Select this. You can go across, drag it. See what is happening. And then it is applied, but it is not sure. Alright, it has been applied now. Maybe it's taking a while to load. Yeah. So you see the grass material applied here. Or we can choose some other material. Let's say we choose some gold material here. Choose the gold material. Object selected. Use selected asset from content browser. Press. Gold. So this is the basic navigation. So we have created somewhat of a scene here. We created different objects. The objects are called assets. We have applied a material to the objects. Now when you go to the materials lecture, we will cover materials in greater detail, but I just showed you how to apply the material to an object or to an asset. You saw how to create objects, so how to put them in the viewport. You can find objects here, shapes, and add them here. Or we can go to the content drawer, the content browser, whatever you want to call it. Well, we have a lot of different things in the starter content, but if you want to import assets, you'll be following the same principle. So if you have downloaded some asset from online and you want to apply it or use that same asset that you have downloaded online, and you want to use that same asset in Unreal, you will be going to the content drawer and then drag and drop in the asset onto wherever you want in the viewport. So I'll bring this lesson to an end here, because this is essentially the basic navigation for Unreal, and the version of Unreal we are using is 5.7.2.
That is it for this lecture. Do you want to learn more? Like and subscribe. You can also contact us, Impulse Response Enterprises Ltd.